A symbol for a season. This jaunty jargon, proudly displayed by Baltimore's David Taylor, is accurate indeed, for the Colts are the surprise team of the NFL. Another symbol for a season, for the Miami Dolphins are a team simply devastated by injuries. Besides losing their two top quarterbacks, Bob Greasy and Earl Morrow, Miami has replaced 9 injured regulars on defense. Yet they went into the season's 13th week with only the Colts to beat in order to win their division for the 5th straight year. For Jut-Jawed Don Shula, this season is perhaps a truer testament to his greatness as a coach than his perfect season when the team won 17 games. For piece by piece, the mighty machine known as the Dolphins has been taken apart by injury or defection. Shula faced Baltimore with little-used Don Strock at quarterback and inexperience at the key position on defense as well, for rookie Steve Toll, number 56, has replaced Nick Bonaconte and Mike Colon at middle linebacker. Miami has never missed the playoffs since Shula became coach, but Baltimore would be a hefty challenge for this injury-riddled football team. Colt coach Ted Marchibroda heads a team that may represent the single biggest improvement in NFL history. Baltimore was 2-12 last year and now has a chance to be 10-4. Marchibroda's original goal was a 7-7 season, but that has obviously changed. As he says, we have something everyone wants, enthusiasm. This is the most emotional, spirited pro team I've ever seen. The Colts also have talent, a big-bodied, whip-armed young quarterback in Burt Jones, the team's first 1,000-yard runner in history in Lydell Mitchell, and an offense that is averaging 35 points per game since the 5th week of the season. Combined with their outstanding defense in a town that has slowly but surely taken them to their hearts, the Colts came into this crucial game with everything on their side, despite the fact that they were 1 game behind the Dolphins. A win in this game would put them even, but because Baltimore beat the Dolphins earlier, the championship would belong to the Colts. So there you have it. A classic showdown between the champion and the challenger. The injured but shock-proof Miami Dolphins against the spirited but inexperienced Baltimore Colts for the American Conference's Eastern Division title in the NFL Game of the Week. The opening kickoff provided some offensive excitement that was a portent of things to come. Bruce Laird, the kick returner par excellence from American International, vaulted over 3 Dolphins and streaked all the way to the Miami 43. It appeared the first break of the ball game, a big one, belonged to the fired-up Colts. But it was not to be. A clipping penalty was called on Baltimore's Bob Van Dyne, and the ball went all the way back to the 11. Another look at the play isolates number 50, rookie linebacker from Ohio State, Bruce Elia. You'll see Van Dyne, number 67, come into the picture and block Elia from behind. Now starting from their 11, Baltimore went nowhere on their first series against the Dolphins' new no-name defense. But on their second, a Burt Jones pass to tight end Raymond Chester, followed by a scramble by Jones, put the ball in Dolphin territory for the first time. Here the Miami defense, led by number 56 Steve Toll, responded to the challenge. 3 straight times they stopped Baltimore cold. And on 4th and 2 from the 36, the Colts went for the marbles. But fullback Bill Olds failed to make the necessary yardage, and the Miami defense had one out. In fact, for the remainder of the first half and through most of the second, Miami's magnificent defense thwarted Ted Marchibroda's game plan and beat the young Colt forward wall off the ball time and time again. Lydell Mitchell, the 1,000-yard runner, was the prime target. Gang tackled and hounded every time he touched the ball, Mitchell would gain merely 37 yards through the first 3 quarters of the game. Baltimore's passing attack, led by Burt Jones, was virtually non-existent due to close coverage of the Colts setbacks by Miami's linebackers. This was vital to Burt Jones because he simply had no time to look for wide receivers due to a ferocious rush by the Dolphins' front four. Through the first 3 periods, Baltimore had only one crack at the scoring column. It began with a tight end screen from Jones to Raymond Chester, good for 15 yards. Despite the fact he was playing with 2 broken ribs, Jones ran often. His run and a catch by Roger Carr moved the Colts closer. Tony Linhart attempted a 29-yard field goal, but it was wide, and Baltimore's first scoring opportunity was wasted. Inconsistency has long plagued the Austrian-born Linhart, but much later in the game, he would get another opportunity to redeem himself. As futile was the Colt attack against Miami's defense, the Dolphin offense fared no better through the first 3 quarters of the game. Their biggest gainer came midway through period 2 when Mercury Morris went right up the middle for 21 yards. But the Dolphins never came even close to scoring because of the extraordinary play of the young, tough Baltimore defense. Their underpublicized front four of John Dutton, Joe Ehrman, Mike Barnes, and Fred Cook held the ground game in check. When Strock tried to pass, he discovered that the Colts' tenacious secondary, spearheaded by former Dolphin Lloyd Mumford, refused to fold. Thus it went for Miami. Virtually no success at all through air or ground until late in the first half when Strock caught Moore slanting over the middle for 24 yards. Then from the 28, Strock rolled right away from pressure and delivered a perfect pass to Moore at the base of the end zone. Moore was ruled over the line on the catch, and the Dolphins' best scoring opportunity evaporated, for Garo Yepremian's field goal try was wide left. Miami had yet another opportunity, however, on the next series when Baltimore's punt was blocked, then illegally spiked forward by Stan White. The official's call was rightfully illegal procedure, but Colt coach Ted Marchibroda obviously disagreed, and the mild-mannered man exploded. It didn't matter, however, for though Yepremian had another chance at a field goal, he missed it again. And this closely contested and crucial game remained tied at 0 until late in the third quarter. With defense dominating, the game took on the elements of sudden death, even though 20 minutes still remained in regulation. For the next score might well be the only score, and Miami would get first crack when the Colts were unable to cover David Lee's low kick, and Nat Moore got a chance to pick out a hole in the coverage. Moore's 28-yard return to the Colt 27 had the Dolphins at least in field goal range, and it appeared that a three-pointer was all Miami would get a chance at, as the Baltimore defense continued to give ground grudgingly. But facing a critical 3rd and 7, Don Strock struck for a big one. The Miami offensive line that would allow the league's highest sacking team only one quarterback trap all day gave Strock plenty of time, and he picked out Larry Seipel in front of 2 Colt defenders for a first down. Then after reaching the 3-yard line, the Dolphins faced yet another big 3rd down. The Miami offensive line prepared to root him out, but Mercury Morris took a look inside, saw nothing doing, then outflanked the Colt defense, although nearly celebrating his touchdown a bit early. This has been a strange season for Morris. Early in the year, he was rushing at a 1,000-yard season pace, but of late, Shula has seen fit to alternate Morris with Benny Malone. This has not set well with Morris, who publicly denounced the coach's decision, and perhaps he has a good case. Last week in a big win over the Bills, Morris rushed for 96 yards. He would get nearly 100 again today in this biggest of games, and his touchdown put Miami in front 7-0. The Dolphin defense would have to make Morris' score stand up, for mistakes on offense and a fast-pursuing, tough-hitting Baltimore Colt defense would allow no more points to go up on the board. For the rest of the game, the Miami offense could not get inside the Baltimore 40-yard line, but they had those 7 points, and that would be enough if the Dolphin defense continued to contain the Colt offense. With 12 minutes to go, the Colts began a drive from their own 14, 86 yards away from continuing their playoff dream. It was now or never. For the first time, Burt Jones began to consistently find his receivers. With the short passing game going, the Colts edged toward the tying touchdown. The big play of the drive was a season make-or-break 3rd and 10 toss to Lydell Mitchell that carried into Dolphin territory. Staying strictly with short stuff, Jones again found Mitchell for 11 more yards and another first down on the Miami 34. On the very next play, it was another first down on a Jones completion to Ray Chester, and the Colts had reached the Dolphin 11-yard line. Baltimore head coach Ted Marchibroda, who certainly must be the prime consideration for Coach of the Year, saw his young club poised and confident carrying out a gut-wrenching drive. So confident were they of their ability to move that Marchibroda sent in number 85, Jimmy Kennedy. The Colts now had a 2 tight end setup. They practically told the Dolphins, "We're going to run it in." And from the 11-yard line with 2 Lydell Mitchell carries, they did. With Memorial Stadium rocked to the rafters, the Colts had climbed to within an extra point of tying the Dolphins. As Marchibroda nervously paced the sidelines, Tony Linhart knocked through the extra point, and the Dolphins and Colts were tied at 7. 5.5 minutes still remained, and in that time, each team had 2 possessions. There was, however, no way the Dolphins were going to score against the sky-high Colt defense. The Colts had the best chance in regulation when Morris fumbled and Fred Cook recovered on the Baltimore 46 with 3:45 to go. Again, the stadium rocked. The Colt defense, though not as spectacular as in previous weeks, had done their job well, muzzling the Dolphin offense and now making the big play that might enable the Colts to win the game. Now the burden fell to the Colt offense. They had finally proved that they could crack this Dolphin defense, and if they could do it once more, they would be one step away from completing the most remarkable turnaround in NFL history. Garnering strength from each other in an on-field seance, the Colts were in control of their destiny. But alas, this storybook game had one more chapter to go. The Colts' drive was aborted by a series of penalties. On this play, they claimed that Bob Matheson interfered with Lydell Mitchell, and when Jones came over to protest, he bumped the official, bringing a 15-yard penalty. 2 other penalties left the Colts in an impossible 3rd and 36. The last real scoring opportunity was lost by way of the yellow flag, and the 2 teams entered sudden death overtime, regulation having ended in a 7-7 tie. As the fog rolled in off the Chesapeake, it added a dramatic backdrop to a most dramatic game. The Dolphins would have first crack in the overtime period. But as the Miami reserves watched from the sidelines, the Colt defense again stymied the Dolphin offense, and they left the field having managed just 1 first down. They did, however, leave the Colts in the poorest of field position when Larry Seipel's punt went out on the 4-yard line. The Colts would have to travel 96 yards through the harshest of circumstances. By now, Memorial Stadium was filled with the proverbial pea soup fog. Standing between the Colts and victory was the brilliant Dolphin defense, and soon to come were 4 third-down character testers. First on a 3rd and 1, Bill Olds bashed for 11 yards over left guard. On the next play, Jones was unable to pierce the fog and locate a receiver and lost 10 yards. After a run gained 5, Jones faced a 3rd and 15. The game was on the line on this one very big play. Jones' clutch pass to Chester was good for the first down. Then facing 2nd and 15, Jones found Roger Carr for 14 3/4. The Colts converted this third down of the drive easily, and then Jones was back and piercing the pea soup again. Having reached the Dolphin 34, the Colts faced yet a 4th third down situation and again converted. Don McCauley's 13-yard run put the ball on the Miami 21. All that was left was to hold on to the ball, set up for a field goal, and the Baltimore Colts would have their shot at the division championship. Burt Jones, playing with 2 broken ribs and who had led the Colts this far, was now doubled over on the sidelines in pain, and he would not see the crucial kick as the game's outcome now rested on a very lonely man, Tony Linhart. Several of the Colt players could hardly believe it themselves. These same players who 1 year ago were 2-12 now stand 9-4. And if they make it 10-4 next week against the Patriots, they will be the AFC East Division champions. The Dolphins can now only hope that Baltimore loses next week if they are to make the playoffs themselves. But the story of the 1975 Miami Dolphins is truly a remarkable one. Beset by injuries, just the fact that they still have a chance at all is a tribute to Don Shula and the Dolphins. But the reign of the Dolphins appears to be at an end, while for another team, the rise to the top is just beginning. The Baltimore Colts are just one game away from a championship by virtue of their 10-7 victory. This is a young football team, and if they win this week, it just may take a long time to unseat the new power in the AFC Eastern Division. Still remained, and in that time each team had 2 possessions. There was, however, no way the Dolphins were going to score against the sky-high Colts.